Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back with another weekend update video. Let's talk about Palantir today because we got some big news right before the market opens next week on Tuesday. Just a quick reminder, Monday is President's Day, which means that the stock market is closed. So we have a short 4-day trading week next week. But let's take a look at Palantir. This is the heat map from Friday, the last day of trading. Just to give a quick reminder, it was kind of a green to flat day overall in the stock market. But let's go ahead and look at Palantir. Like we always do, we'll look at Palantir on Robinhood. We'll take a look at some news articles on Palantir. Got some good information there that I saw today. We'll take a look to see what Wall Street Bets is saying about PLTR. And then we'll do some technical analysis to see if we can predict what's going to happen next week. And we'll end the video looking at the option flow data to see what the big money investors were doing with Palantir the last trading day. So let's just get right into it. Looking at Robinhood here, you can see Palantir did not have a great end of the week there, down 3.6%, was able to recoup a little bit of those losses in after hours trading, up about 0.9% after hours. But on the week, Palantir, look at this. This is not what you want to see in a stock graph. You want to see the opposite of this. It's just down and to the right, down 13.5% on the week. On the month, you're still looking pretty good, up just about 20% on the month. Over the past 3 months, you would have basically doubled your money, up a little over 122%. And of course, on the year, really, we don't have a year's worth of data. Palantir debuted pretty much on October 1st. On the year, if you bought in right at the IPO date, you're up just about 222%. So the real thing is, Palantir has really juicy options, but if you're watching this video and thinking about trying to get in to play earnings, you're already too late because earnings is going to happen pre-market Tuesday morning. And like I said, Monday, there is no stock or options trading. So you're a little bit late to the party. You've kind of missed the boat here. But if you wanted to open up some options on Tuesday, once the market opens, maybe some weeklies that expire February 19th, let's just take a look to see what you would get at the money in terms of juiciness. But keep in mind, these numbers are probably going to change by a lot because of IV Crush. So you would collect $294 in premium or $3,200 in capital. That is going to give you a return on risk of just about 9.2%. My prediction though, once earnings happen Tuesday morning and the market actually opens up for trading, for options trading, I should say, this is probably going to get halved at least. I would expect somewhere around 4 to 5% return on risk once the market opens. We'll see if I'm correct, but I personally don't have any shares or options open on Palantir right now. I am looking into the stock because I think long term they might be a good play. Maybe buy some shares and hold long. Let me show you some news articles that kind of support that. First of all, I want to show you this stellar article from Investors Business Daily because, you know, the headline just caught my eye here. And it says, Dow Jones Futures, be ready for a stock market rally, pullback, or melt up. So basically they're saying the stock market could go up or it could go down. I mean, some stellar due diligence here, some stellar analysis. I wonder if they're hiring. Let me know, Investors Business Daily. I'm available. But anyway, all seriousness, let's take a look at this article from Benzinga on Palantir titled Palantir's Q&A platform for investors is open all weekend ahead of Q4 earnings on Tuesday. This article actually just came out this morning, and Palantir has actually opened up a website where you can submit questions, and they're going to try and answer these questions on their earnings call. So it says right here, Palantir opened a shareholder Q&A platform to be used in its upcoming earnings call. The company is inviting investors to ask and upvote questions that they would like addressed on their earnings call. Something tells me that this is going to be ripe for a little bit of abuse from a certain subreddit. Not going to name any names, but what they're saying is you can submit questions, and some of the top voted questions on the shareholder Q&A platform right now, well, what are they? Here they are. With the partnership recently announced with IBM, I believe sales at the enterprise level will increase greatly. Will Foundry be the main software used? And finally, does Palantir have plans to create a more scaled down version to serve small to medium-sized businesses? It's actually a good question. Let's see what they say as far as an answer. Another popular question, while the IBM announcement is great, their public cloud share is minuscule. Can you commit to expanding managed offerings to other public cloud providers such as Microsoft, Azure, Amazon, AWS, and Google Alphabet Cloud. I don't think they're going to definitely skirt the issue on this question. How can they commit to basically the 3 largest tech companies in the world right now? I mean, that's kind of a loaded question there. I'm sure they're going to beat around the bush and avoid this question. The last 2 questions are, when does Palantir expect to achieve a level where it can repeatedly and continually achieve profitability? That's a very good question that I'm sure investors want to know. And lastly, which 2 or 3 things should long-term investors focus on most to track Palantir's progress towards long-term growth targets? That's another good question. I think these first 2 questions, they're definitely going to beat around the bush and try to avoid them and not going to give you a straight answer. These bottom 2, they probably would already address in the earnings call, but I think they're good questions nonetheless. Let me show you this other article. This one is out of Investor Place, titled Palantir Stock, Sell for Short-Term Gains, but Look for the Long Play. So Palantir is up, like I showed you, 236% in the past 3 months. And so obviously people are worried that it's overvalued. And right now it's at 303 times their forward P/E ratio. And really, if we scroll down here, they give a lot of good data, a lot of numbers. But what I want to focus on is right here with this lockup expiration and what it means for Palantir stock. So they do a good job explaining these lockups. And what it says when a firm goes public, the owners tend to sell roughly 15 to 20% of the company. And then as part of the IPO or the initial public offering process, the remaining 80 to 85% is almost always subject to a lockup period, which is usually 90 to 180 days, in which they have agreed not to sell any of their shares. And then upon completion of this period, these shareholders are then free to sell their existing shares. And thus, it results in a permanent shift in the number of available shares in the marketplace. So here's why this is important. The SEC, they do not mandate this. However, it's a self-imposed practice to ensure that big investors do not flood the market with shares. And typically, if there's a sharp increase in the number of shares available, the stock price is pushed down. So the concern is, right here, Palantir's lockup period is set to expire after the release of Q4 earnings. So basically next week. So the concern is, once this lockup period expires, if a bunch of these shareholders decide to dump the shares and sell them off, well then it could send Palantir's stock price plummeting. I don't have any positions right now on Palantir, but honestly, if their earnings don't go as planned, or if there is a big dump in the price from all these shares now being sold off, it might be a good opportunity, not financial advice of course, to buy some shares and then go long on Palantir, because Palantir may essentially be on sale next week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you have shares or options on Palantir. But this article goes on to say that similar to what I'm thinking is that in the short term, it's going to drop. But I think the long-term prospects are favorable for Palantir. And it says right here, excellent stock, but wait for the dip. Palantir has signed 7 new contracts since November of last year. Like I said, and we're talking global contracts, not just in the United States. We're talking in Japan, in the UK. And the most recent contract we learned about was with IBM, obviously a big tech player. So the technical analysis side, they're saying there's a bullish cup and handle pattern forming, which is considered a bullish signal, with the right-hand side of the pattern typically experiencing lower trader volume. Generally, cups with longer and more U-shaped bottoms provide a stronger signal. However, I believe shares will lose steam for the next couple of weeks, after which normal service will resume. So, like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on this ticker. I'm not saying for sure I'm going to buy shares, but if it goes on sale and it's a great deal, well, I might have to pick up a few shares and just hold them for the long term. Let's go take a look at swaggy stocks. So here's the Wall Street Bets sentiment right now on Palantir. Take a look at this. Wall Street Bets has been talking about PLTR more than they have in the past month. The share price, unfortunately, has been going down, but look at the sentiment here. The green kind of area is the bullish sentiment. The red area is the bearish sentiment. And this blue line is basically the total number of comments. You can see most comments we've had in the past month. So Wall Street Bets is definitely picking up on this. Now let's go take a look at the TradingView chart here and do some technical analysis. We have some TA from the last time I covered Palantir. Kind of drew this upward trending trend line. I wasn't sure, I think I'd said in the video, what the trend was so far, but what worries me a little bit is that with these 2 red candles now have dropped below the trend line. However, not only that, but on Friday we closed below the 21-day moving average. And you can see intraday, we bounced right off this trend line that I drew a while back at around $31.20. So hopefully 31.20 holds us support, but honestly, I don't think it will. I think on Tuesday, we're going to have a big sell-off. I think we're going to get to at least $28, which is where I have the next level of support. That's also where the 50-day moving average is. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if we fall below the 50-day moving average as well, based on what I'm seeing online and some of the chatter that I'm seeing on Reddit and StockTwits. It seems like a lot of people are very bearish right now on Palantir. But like I said, if we scroll out here, the recent low was probably back in early January at a price of around low $22 or so, mid $22. Honestly, I think if I can pick up shares down in the low 20s or maybe even sub 20, that might be a steal of a price from Palantir. Let's see how low it goes and what happens when the market opens on Tuesday. And lastly, let's take a look at the Trade UI option flow data on Palantir to see what the big money investors were doing right before the end of the week. So here's Sweepcast, one of the option flow programs that I use to get my data. Looking at Palantir, the overall sentiment is actually bullish, 52.5% bullish. The total number of calls and puts were pretty equal actually at 41 apiece, but the sentiment is kind of what the tiebreaker was. I've sorted these options by dollar amount. The most valued option was this one for $482,000, which came in right pretty much before the closing bell at 3:47 p.m. Eastern time. And that was a call option, which was a bearish sentiment. So kind of seems like the market is split right now between bearish and bullish calls. It's a kind of a coin flip. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. Like I said, a lot of the chatter that I'm seeing on StockTwits and Reddit is bearish on Palantir. And I am kind of rooting for a little bit of a sell-off here. Sorry for all you shareholders or all you call option holders, but I'm trying to get in on sale, you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. As always, make sure you join the Discord server. Add me on StockTwits, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. Most importantly, let's have another green trading week, and I'll see you on the moon.